Hey guys, back again with another review. This time it's of 1985's Ninja Warrior, which was directed by John Lloyd and it starred Ronald L. Marchini, Romano Christoph, Paul Vance, Ken Watanabe, Mike Cohen, Nick Nicholson. Basically most of the people you've never heard of in your whole entire life. And the film stars Ron Marchini as Steve. Now, Steve's not important for the minute, but he will be soon. So the story starts out with what look like men in outfits breaking into this building looking for a formula. It turns out that these people are ninjas and they need a certain thing to get this formula working. And it turns out certain people have got these keys, but they can go to their banks and get this stuff, and they save the deposit boxes. And it's a very confusing plot overall because it jumps so much all over the place. It's a lot like a Godfrey Ho movie, except without the cuts from the Asian film and then the films with Richard Harrison and Stuart Smith and all that. We meet Paul Vance's character, Lieutenant Kevin Washington, and he believes that it's down to ninjas. And he's got a friend who studies martial arts called Steve, played by Ron Marchini. Steve is a badass mother son of a gun. He's a big bloke, and if you've seen a lot of Ron Marchini's films, you know he's a very wooden, bad actor. So, as we get our first glimpse of Steve, he's walking like on a tightrope, getting things thrown at him. Now, we never find out where these things are coming from, because it's him doing his training with a blindfold on. We also find out he likes wearing the same clothing with the same titles on, but different colours. So, Kevin talks to him and says, oh, there's this problem, and then all of a sudden they get attacked by ninjas. Out of nowhere, they get attacked by ninjas, but the ninjas then run off. So we're like, okay, and Steve's like, So we meet the main villain, the main ninja, Kuroda, who has this whole ninja army. They're 10, 12 ninjas, I guess, but they keep respawning, as I say, because you don't see that many. And he's very strict on them. He makes them jump out a tree. He makes them dig holes in the ground and tunnel their way underground. He makes them do sit-ups and makes them do all these different training things, which is a cool thing to say. This has a great soundtrack. The acting is atrocious, but a lot of that is probably due to the fact that it's dubbed for the most part. The Captain Henry Marlowe, played by Mike Monty, is just hysterically funny. It can't get much funnier than this guy because, for one thing, he can't act for crap. I mean, literally. It's like this. Ninjas? You say ninjas? And you're like, yes, ninjas. So he gets on my nerves a bit, and I'm sure he get on yours. And in every scene, practically, there's a picture of Ronald Reagan. The same picture on the wall, on the desk, even gets looked at by Kevin Washington and see if it's got traps on it. So for most of the film, we think, is Steve a ninja? Is he a ninja, or is he just a martial artist? So going back to the story, then we get a police detective woman who gets kidnapped instead of the right person. Now this policewoman, she's got blonde hair and she's quite tall, from what I could say. As the actual woman they're supposed to kidnap has got black hair and is curly and quite short. So I don't know how these ninjas got that wrong, but they did. So she gets taken and they find out that it's not her, but it's not really the woman they're looking for. And we also meet this really overweight professor, doctor, but he was a chubby friar. And his acting was the worst. Oh, that's not her. That's not her. How could you pick the wrong woman? Oh, it might have been that I gave you the wrong house number, but I'm going to pretend that I didn't do that. That's how he talks. So we get through the movie and we get near the end. Now you got to remember, this is a great ninja film. There's a lot of ninja action, lots of fights and so forth. There's one fight where the right-hand man of the main ninja attacks them and gets caught. He's in a police cell and they have to do a trade for the policewoman for the ninja. So one of the ninjas shoots her in the back with an arrow and he runs off. He then says to his master, my life is in your hands. So he goes, you know what the cost is? And throws a sword to him, so he has to commit harikari. So at that point, you're like, yeah, this guy's sadistic. He reminds me of a Japanese Hitler because the way he looks like this. I watch the movie and we get to the end and Steve goes in there and it turns out he's a ninja. He's a ninja that wears this metal band around his head like this. And he wants to go and get the formula and stop them from taking over the world and so forth. So we get right near the end now. It's so good because the fights with the main ninjas last only about 8 minutes. Even the main bad guy dies like after a few minutes. So it isn't the best fight. But what I want to know is, why does the main villain throw a projectionist wheel at him? He throws like this wheel at him, like this projectionist. Throws at him. And you're like, what the hell is this? So that was pretty cool. I felt sorry for Paul Vance's character, Ken Washington, because he gets everything. A shuriken in his hand, hung upside down, tortured. But overall, the film's got atrocious acting due to the dubbing. It's made in the Philippines. It's not very good. But if you want pure ninja action, this is one of those films you want to check out, because the ninja action doesn't let you down, but everything else basically does. Other than the soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing too. So, as always, guys, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching and have a lovely, lovely day. And please subscribe. Thanks, guys.